brothers and sisters, about the grace of God that has been granted to the churches of Macedonia. For during a severe ordeal of affliction, their abundant joy and their extreme poverty have overflowed in a wealth of generosity on their part. For, as I can testify, they voluntarily gave according to their means, and even beyond their means, begging us earnestly for the privileges of sharing in this ministry to the saints. And this, not merely as we expected. They gave themselves first to the Lord, and, by the will of God, to us, so that we might urge Titus that, as he had already made a beginning, so he should also complete this generous undertaking among you. Now as you excel in everything, in faith, in speech, in knowledge, in utmost eagerness, and in our love for you, so we want you to excel also in this generous undertaking. Hear what the Spirit is saying to the church.
The third week of our series of stewardship messages of extravagant generosity. And in today's readings, Paul's letter speaks of that extravagant generosity, of church and its people so immersed in the love and the grace of God that they were compelled to give. They heard about a need and they just had to give. The message tells it this way, and its title is The Offering. Now, friends, I want to report on the surprising and generous ways in which God is working in the churches in Macedonia province. Fierce troubles came down on the people of those churches, pushing them to their very limit. The trial exposed their true colors. They were incredibly happy, though desperately poor. The pressure triggered something totally unexpected, an outpouring of pure and generous gifts. I was there and I saw it for myself. They gave offerings of whatever they could, far more than they could afford, pleading for the privilege of helping out in relief to poor Christians. This was totally spontaneous, entirely their own idea, and I was caught completely off guard. What explains it was they had first given themselves unreservedly to God and to us. The other giving simply flowed out of the purposes of God working in their lives. That's what prompted us to ask Titus to bring the relief offering to your attention, so that what was so well begun could be finished. You do so well in so many things. You trust God. You're articulate. You're insightful. And you're passionate. You love us. Now, do your best in this too. Now, today, God continues to work in the church, and God works through each of us. It is through our gifts that we are able to make change. It's because of our giving that we are able. It's because of our giving that we are able to give a father in need a Target gift card. Because all this daddy wants to do is to go and buy diapers for his children. And he's grateful. And he's so happy for this small gift. The Church of Macedonia showed its true colors even in their trouble, and they were happy. No, They were incredibly happy, even in their deep need, because they had given and dedicated themselves to God. Now we have to acknowledge that as a congregation, we are blessed. But imagine pleading for the privilege to give. Really? Like the congregation of Macedonia, we are called to recommit ourselves so that God will work in and through our lives. We are called to pray that we might unite our hearts with God's heart, that God's purpose will become our purpose, so that in the giving there is joy. We're blessed as a faith community, as individuals. And because we are blessed, we are able to give to those things that are meaningful in our lives and to those in need. Today, many people are preparing to walk for something meaningful to them. Today is the day of the Cancer Walk, and many have and are doing so much for this event. There are the walkers, there are the pledgers. People are preparing for the celebration following the event, and so many working behind the scenes, people giving, and giving with joy, because they know they are making a difference. We as people of God are also making a difference. Our gifts help maintain this building where people meet. People in recovery meet here, and their lives are changed in this building. Children and youth in scouting programs meet here, and their lives are enriched. Character is instilled. Life skills are learned. Children and youth grow and are empowered. Monday through Friday, our halls are filled with children's laughter, teacher storytelling, and songs from our Step Ahead preschool program that we help support through this space. Children and their families' lives are supported and enhanced because of your support and gifts. And it is in this space that we share. We who are people of God worship God, offering prayers of gratitude and prayers for one another in compassion and love. And your giving does so much more. Time and again we have shared from this pulpit how your gift helped the homeless with clean socks and bus passes, provide children and families in need with our ongoing relationship with the Abbott Downing School. This is a place where our own children and youth learn what it's like to be part of a faith community, where they are loved and cared for by so many. All of this happens right here, and all of this radiates out of this place and out into our community and beyond. And who would ever forget the great joy in celebrating with the kissing of the llama? I know. When we exceeded our goal in our Heifer International program. Your gifts make a difference in so many ways. And yes, these gifts change lives. But today, God is calling us to more. So much more. And we can't each do it alone. But as Misty explained, when we combine our resources, we can fill the greatest need. The money is not to stay in this place, but to do God's work as we are propelled beyond this community and out into our world. And Paul writes that he was being caught off guard by the generosity of the congregation of Macedonia. And that is what extravagant generosity does. It catches us off guard. I recall a morning I was caught off guard by extravagance. It was Christmas, and I was 12 years old. And the mountain of gifts that had been under the tree had all been opened, and all of my siblings were playing or rearranging their gifts. And it was that quiet, satisfying moment before the chaos was to begin. And my dad was standing in the doorway between the kitchen and that living room. And we made eye contact. And he tilts his head, that way that says, "Come over here." And so I got up off the floor and went to him. And he said to me, "I have something for you." And he hands me a box, and it's small. And I look up at him, and he's smiling, and he says, "Open it." And I wondered, what could this be? And I was totally amazed in this moment. I unwrapped, and I opened that box. And in the box was a watch. And I couldn't believe my eyes. I looked up at him in amazement. This was such an important moment, and this gift said so much to me. And I found it so extravagant. I looked at the watch again and back up at him, and he was still smiling. And I couldn't help it. I put my arms around his waist and hugged him. You know that hug when your head is against his belly? But I didn't want to let go, and all I could say was, "Thank you, Daddy, thank you." I think back to that Christmas, and I realized that in that moment, as happy as I was, and I was thrilled, my dad was happier. I know that in that moment, my dad was feeling absolute, pure joy. The joy of giving. And the joy of a gift given in love, received in joy and gratitude. I think that's how God receives our gifts. Pure joy. And that is how God gives to us. Always more than we deserve. Whether it's abundance, or grace, or love. God gives in sweet joy and love those beautiful gifts, those extravagant gifts. And the truth is, we are able to feel that same sweetness in giving, that same joy in giving that God shows us. Because God shows us the way to be extravagant in love. Extravagant in the giving of ourselves, extravagant in joy, and in our giving. That sweet moment. May God continue to bless us with God's extravagant, in that sweet joy that we might extravagantly give. Amen. We cannot be extravagant standing and sitting here, but we are called to be God's servants, to go out into the world, to be extravagant in joy, to be extravagant in love, which we all receive from our awesome Creator God. Acknowledge these great gifts that are showered down on us every day, and give them away. Go in love, go in extravagant love, and go in peace to serve.